I'm still grappling with the decision of having bought this. I'm like, do I want to read this? I don't see. So this dude is like a failed, disgraced priest, and he's got his dead dad in his throat, just complete roast mode, just talking shit the entire time, ruining everything that he wants to do. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So today we have part 2 of my post Read What You Own challenge book haul. I ended up with 45 books after completing that. I will link part 1 in the description so you can get the full context of what's going on. Because so many of these are works in translation and are generally older books, I will be telling you what the books are, who wrote them. I will tell you when they were originally published and where. The very first book that we have here is one that I'm already about 30% of the way into. This is The Collected Songs of Cold Mountain, translated by Red Pine, a bilingual collection of ancient Chinese poems written by the revered Zen Taoist hermit on rocks and temple walls, alongside works by his colleagues Pickup and Big Stick. This is my third book of Chinese poetry translations by Red Pine. So far, I think it might be my favorite. So much good stuff in here. This is another poetry book I picked up. This is Eros, 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 Selected and Last Poems by Odysseas Elytis. I'm going to try the best I can on these pronunciations, guys. A comprehensive collection of Nobel laureate Odysseas Elytis' poems, spanning from his surrealist beginnings through The Little Mariner to his final works. From what I hear, this is excellent. I'm really curious to get into it and to see what... I've never read poetry from... Well, actually, no, I have read poetry from Greece. Not modern poetry from Greece. I've only read, like, the 2,000-year-old shit. I'm really curious to see what the modern is like. I'm really excited for that. This is one of the coolest sounding books I've heard of in a long time. I have The Children of the Dead by Elfriede, Jelinek, 1995, Germany. Take a load of this. Listen to this. At an Austrian mountain resort, 3 ghosts of accident victims haunt tourists while Holocaust dead rise as zombies seeking revenge, merging past atrocities with supernatural horror. It's Nazi zombies, dude. It's like straight up Nazi zombies. I'm down. It's gotta be good if it won the Nobel Prize in Literature. About Nazi zombies? Come on. How cool is that, dude? We have The Night Parade by Ronald Malfi, 2016, here in the US. A father flees with his gifted daughter, who may hold the cure to a terrifying plague causing hallucinations and death. I'm getting like, this is kind of Ronald Malfi doing I Am Legend, not the Matheson story, but the movie adaptation of the story. The very next book we have is a little tiny one. This is Old Rendering Plants by Wolfgang Hilbig, 1991, Germany. Another German book. A young boy's obsession with an abandoned coal plant leads to dark revelations when he returns as an adult to find it transformed into a sinister rendering plant. This is about like lost ignorance, lost innocence. This is a book, from what I hear, about coming into adulthood, coming of age, and becoming acquainted with the fact that time is a wheel that forever grinds onward. This next book is the very first nonfiction of the bunch. We have Underland, A Deep Time Journey by Robert Macfarlane, 2019, from the UK. I assume that this is popular. I can't remember if I saw it at Barnes & Noble the last time I went. It seems like a book that would be really pushed right now. It's nonfiction, like I said. A haunting voyage into the planet's past and future, exploring the Earth's underworlds in myths, literature, memory, and the land itself. I'm not entirely sure exactly what all is entailed in this. It sounds kind of cool. It sounds interesting enough. This one definitely sounds freaking sweet. Anybody listen to Lamb of God? So we have Dark Days, a memoir by D. Randall Blythe, 2015, here in the USA. D. Randall Blythe recounts his harrowing experience of imprisonment in Prague's Pankray, I think it is, prison, facing manslaughter charges and eventual acquittal while maintaining sobriety and grappling with tragedy. Me being a lifelong Lamb of God listener, me being 3 years into my own sobriety from alcohol, this man is a bit of an inspiration to me. I have yet to actually read any of his books. I've only ever just listened to him talk for a long, long, long time. This is a person whose words truly inspire me. So I really want to read this and see just what all the hype is about. I know I've heard of the story. I followed the story in the news when it was happening in real time, but I really want to see the full account from him. Too Much of Life by Clarice Lispector. This bind-up edition, first published 2018 in Brazil. A collection of short, vivid newspaper pieces by Clarice Lispector, offering intimate and revelatory insights into various aspects of life, from children to social ills, pets, society, women, writing, and love. They have a series of writers come in who can essentially let them know, hey, you can just send us something, whatever you put into it, we'll go ahead and publish it. And she had a Saturday publication every day for like 5 years. And this is every one of those in chronological order, so you can go through and you can read them. I also picked up the complete short fiction, the complete short stories of Clarice Lispector, collected in 2015, Brazil. Also, a collection of 85 short stories by Clarice Lispector, exploring themes of sexuality, artistry, and self-discovery through the lives of diverse characters, from teenagers to the elderly, revealing her literary prowess and leaving a lasting impact. She's such a fascinating creature, Clarice Lispector. I'm ever so intrigued. I'm ever so intrigued by everything that she touches. All right, so there's enough happy shit going on. This next one, oh God, why did I even... this is one of those books where you start to question. I picked up that Nobody's Girl book, the memoir by Virginia Roberts Giuffre, that came out last year. This is her recounting of everything that happened with the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. She was one of the ones who, with this, like, broke this whole case open. I can read all of this scary fake shit, but this scares me. Oh man, why? I'm still grappling with the decision of having bought this. I'm like, do I want to read this? I don't. See. We'll see. I'm so conflicted. I picked up Tim Miller's book that he came out with, Why We Did It, a travelogue from the Republican Road to Hell. Tim Miller, 2022, here in the USA. A former Republican operative examines how GOP establishment figures justified their support for Trumpism, exploring personal compromises, political ambitions, and the path to January 6th. As you could imagine, it's a pretty political book. He has a lot to say and some firm ground that he stands on in those. I like to hear what he's got to say, and that's about all I'll say on that. That's all I have to really say on that. I picked up Swan Song by Robert R. McCammon. One of my favorite books in the world is The Stand. Where are you at? Right there. It sits behind my head every single video you see. This is Robert McCammon doing a similar post-apocalyptic, supernatural, apparently, type situation. It's big, it's large, it's in charge. I think it's like 900 pages. Yeah, it's coming in about 850. One of the big important books that I thought I would have read a long time ago, but I never got my hands on. Now I have my hands on it, and I am excited to read it. This is from 1987, USA. A young girl's visions offer humanity's last hope in a post-apocalyptic world ravaged by nuclear war. It sounds awesome. I love Robert McCammon. I just read some Robert McCammon. I just read Boy's Life in January, and it was excellent. It was one of the greatest books ever. I'm going to do both of these at the same time because I can't really say all too much about these. I picked up book 9 and book 10 of Malazan. That is Dust of Dreams and The Crippled God. I'm not going to go over any synopsis or anything of these because this is book 9 and 10 of an extremely huge series and the end of it. If you know Malazan, this is that. I needed the last 2 books. I had, well, actually they're right here. I went ahead and bought these. I haven't even started the series yet, but I wanted to pick these last 2 up because now I have the entire series in the matching set of mass market paperbacks, and now I'm set to go. All right, we have 3 more books here. The Frog in the Throat by Marcus Werner. This was published in 1985 in Switzerland. A disgraced ex-priest is haunted by his dead father, who appears as a frog in his throat, leading to a darkly comic exploration of family relationships and modern life. So this dude is like a failed, disgraced priest, and he's got his dead dad in his throat, just complete roast mode, just talking shit the entire time, ruining everything that he wants to do. And I think that sounds amazing. I love that. A Time for Keeping Silence by Patrick Lee Fermer. First published 1953 in the UK. Patrick Lee Fermer explores the profound silence and solitude of European monasteries, from Saint Vandril to Cappadocia, reflecting on their spiritual significance and transformative power. I butchered most of those names, I'm sure. This is a travel book and just a bunch of reflection and looking into the history and the beautiful and the beauty and the significance and the time of all of these monasteries. I'm really, really, really curious. I'm not exactly sure. There's so much that you could do with that when you really think about it. I'm quite curious and I'm very excited for that. Speaking of very excited, the very last book, you'd guessed it, Ursula K. Le Guin, The Language of the Night. This is a collection of essays from collected in 1979. Ursula's here from the USA. A collection of insightful essays exploring Le Guin's writing, thoughts on fantasy, science fiction literature, and her role as a public intellectual. I believe this is the first collection of essays in which she kind of comes out and names herself as a, not strictly, but an openly, outwardly feminist writer in what she builds. And she goes into a bit more of her philosophy on that. I'm really curious to flip through it and to read it and to just soak up every word that she says because I love everything that she had to say. That's the end of the book haul, guys. Let me know what you're reading down in the comments. Cheers.